Hey guys, this is a tough video to make because it's a little embarrassing. This video is about all of the curriculum that I bought for second grade but didn't use. I have it stacked up to the side right here, and it's about 1.5 feet tall. So I'm going to show it all to you, but with a little disclaimer, because this material was bought over a period of 2 or more years. Plus, I buy a lot of things on sale, especially if it's a PDF download. I usually wait for the sales to purchase those. And also, a big thing, I have a homeschool consignment store in my town. And I can go there and find pretty much any non-PDF type of homeschool material that's out there. Not always the consumables, but a reader or a teacher guide, I can usually find there for a very low price. So I do shop there quite a bit. So without further ado, let me show you everything I purchased. This year I had a focus on ancient history. So I bought this thinking that I would do some art projects to go along with that. But we never did, partly because we just couldn't seem to find room to fit it in, but also because most of the projects just seemed a little more involved than I personally had stamina for or that my daughter had patience for. But overall, this is a very nice book. I mean, I would definitely recommend it, but we just didn't get around to it. Also, I bought a few drawing books that I thought we would do, and she never once did any of them. I think it's a little too loosey-goosey just to kind of leave it up to her, because if it's up to her, she's not going to do anything. If I do use these again next year, I'll definitely make sure to schedule it into our week. But these were both really great step-by-step drawing books. Nothing wrong with them, we just didn't use them. All right, moving on to math. Financial Literacy 1. We just didn't have time for this. We had so much going on in our week usually that we just couldn't fit it in. And she's going into 3rd grade now. I'll have to look closer at this to see if it's something we can still use for that. I mean, I assume it is. But yeah, we did not get to financial literacy. The next one is kind of hard to show because it was expensive. This is one of the few expensive purchases that I made, and that was Beast Academy. Now, we had great success with CLE math. I have no complaints with it at all, but CLE is very procedural, and that was great for her. That's what she needed. But I thought maybe she could, if she did another type of math as a supplement, it would help her really, really gain math sense or number sense. And also, my older child had done Beast Academy when he was in elementary school. Not with me though. He had done it through AOPS, the Art of Problem Solving, and this was the text that they used. So I purchased this because every time I look at it, I love it. I think it's amazing. But we just didn't have time. And the one time I did try to introduce it to her, we did not get through a single lesson. I brought it out a couple times, but it was a non-starter from the beginning. So unfortunately, we did not use Beast Academy. Okay. Sorry about the wiggle. For science, I have this thing, even though I consider myself a Charlotte Mason style homeschool mom, when I see a workbook, I love it. I don't know why. Maybe because it represents something that you can actually achieve and show off at the end. I buy workbooks and we don't use them. But anyhow, I saw this big science book for grades 2 to 3, and it looked really cute, so I bought it. I thought if science ends up being a big fail, at least we could fall back on this. And we ended up not needing it or not using it. Also, because I always feel like I need a fallback just in case everything fails, I have another science workbook, Skills Sharpeners, grade 2. And we never used this, never touched it. It was just a fallback option. From the Good and the Beautiful, I purchased Safety. And we did try to do a lesson out of it, but for some reason it didn't go very well. So I just set it aside, and I think maybe I'll bring it out again next year. Also in math, I had this as just another little extra supplement, but I forgot I had it. And CLE was working really well for us, so I ended up not needing to assign any of this as extra. But this is very nice. The Sylvan Basic Math Success. All right. Also in science, when we did our human body unit in the first half of the year, I did buy things like this. I thought she would enjoy looking at them. Never once, not once. So let this be a lesson to all of you out there. When you see all the beautiful things that you could add to your homeschool to make it really interesting, you don't necessarily need them. Your child might not be interested in it. But I did have a few things like this, and we didn't use any of them. All right. Oh, gosh, this keeps moving. I'm sorry. Okay. For geography, again, this was a fallback in case I just had nothing else to offer her. We could always do a workbook. And we didn't do it. Never brought it out. Also geography, I had done a big order from Core Knowledge because I ordered a whole bunch of ancient history materials from them, and I added a couple of geography units as well, but we just didn't have time in our year to get to them. So I had ordered continents, countries, and maps, and the geography of the Americas. We just ran out of time. Okay, and now here's the one that hurts my heart. For ancient history, I was driving myself mad at the beginning of the year because I could not find a history that was taught in a way that I felt like would suit us best, or at least suit me best. So I have some items here. I purchased many items just so I could see them and hopefully find something that would be the one that I would use during the year. So here we have from Build Your Library, Level 1, The Ancient World. Now, I actually did not purchase this recently. I purchased this years ago. This actually has the Story of the World. This is the Story of the World version that used to be sold. And I had purchased this when my older child was in homeschool thinking we would do it. But then he ended up going back to public school, so we never got around to it. So, as you know, if you saw my last video, we did not do Build Your Library or Story of the World. We did Core Knowledge, and that worked out well for us this year. So, sadly, I had so many hopes for this, but we ended up not using it. I also, because it's hard to buy Build Your Library and not also buy Torchlight, which is equally wonderful, but also went equally unused. Again, it's a wonderful curriculum, but which one did this use? Curiosity Chronicles. I was not interested in using Curiosity Chronicles, so I ended up not using Torchlight. Nothing wrong with it, just didn't use it. And because I was really getting desperate, I looked at, Layers of Learning, and they sell their units piece by piece. So I think I bought this probably for $5 maybe. And this is First Civilizations. I think I also bought maybe Ancient Egypt or one of the other ones too, or Bronze Age or something like that. Again, nothing wrong with it, but it wasn't for me. And you can see how history was very stressful for me this year before we stumbled onto Core Knowledge. Now, a few items that I purchased to go along with history were Famous Figures of Ancient Times And this, I think we didn't use because I just forgot that we had it, which is a shame because I think she might have had a lot of fun with this. All right, another item I purchased was the Big History Timeline wall book. Very cool. It pulls out. And again, it was just something we didn't have time to look at, and she didn't really express interest in it. Okay, moving on to language arts. For spelling, this was my original decision. We got through a few days of this before she rebelled. Yeah, so I had to abandon this. Maybe I just wasn't teaching it properly. Although this is the way that feels the most natural way to learn spelling to me, but it was not working out for us. So then I purchased the BJU Press Spelling 2. This is another painful one because I thought this would be the core of our language arts. I really like this. I still really like this. It seems like such a gentle way to learn how to write. This is Memoria Press Simply Classical Writing, Step-by-Step Sentences. But I did make a mistake when I ordered this. I ordered the one that goes along with U.S. history, and they have a whole history curriculum that goes with this. Now, I did not use their books, the Memoria Press recommended books, because they were very long chapter books for each week, and there was no way I could have accomplished any of that. I did try to include picture books that went along with each week, but even that was a little too much. It was hard to coordinate. For instance, here's week 19, Johnny Appleseed. We just had too much going on with ancient history, plus literature-heavy science and literature-heavy, oh, my mind just blanked out. But anyhow, everything was very literature-heavy. So this was just not working out, and that made me really sad because this was what I thought would be the foundation of our language arts for the year. And when I say I made a mistake in ordering it, they also have a version, I believe, that is just each week is based on one picture book, and I should have just bought that. I don't know why I picked U.S. history specifically, but if it had just been based on one picture book that we were reading that week, I probably could have accomplished this better. All right, also in language arts / art, a couple of draw and write books. I never ended up bringing these out, I think because for handwriting, we ended up using the draw and write seasons. So that was very similar to this, where you have step-by-step picture to draw plus some copy work. So we didn't end up using this. All right. Also for handwriting, when she finished The Good and the Beautiful Handwriting Level 1, I purchased this because she had not enjoyed The Good and the Beautiful handwriting. So I purchased this because, it's very colorful and the exercises looked nice. I think we got through only maybe 3 or 4 lessons in this, and she did not like it, did not want to do it. And I also started to feel like it was pretty pointless because she already knew how to form her letters. And she was getting handwriting practice through copy work and things like that. Okay. Another item I purchased was Write a Super Sentence from Evan Moore. Now we did do maybe 3 or 4 pages out of this, and it was fine. But other language arts just kind of took over. So we ended up not using this too much after that. Building writers. I really like this, and we had used the level A in 1st grade, and that worked out really nicely. but we just did not have room in the schedule for this. So I don't know if I'll hold on to this or not. I can't decide if the level is too young for her now or not. But either way, this was another item I had bought and didn't use. Okay, let's see. I also purchased from Lit House Learning the World History Ancient Times, since we had a focus on ancient history this year. And this is level 1, which she could probably do now, but at the beginning of the year, I think this was a little beyond her. And because I wasn't using History Quest or Curiosity Chronicles or Story of the World, this didn't really track with what we were doing. So I may hold on to this. Maybe in a few years we'll try it out again. I'm not sure. Okay. Right away. I don't know where I saw this, but it caught my attention. So I did purchase it, but it just didn't seem to fit anywhere. Maybe I purchased it because it reminded me of the type of textbooks I used when I was in public school back in the ancient days. And it also comes with a skills book, which is grammar. And we were already doing grammar with CLE, language arts, and gentle grammar. So another item we didn't use. Okay, now I'm going to be the first to admit that I am easily influenced by the homeschool YouTube influencers. I watch all of the curriculum picks and hits and misses videos. I love them. And I started to see that this was trending in several of the videos, and it looked like a very nice option. But I think it was a little above her when I purchased it. And also we were getting our grammar work through CLE. And because I always feel like I need backups to the backup, I have grammar and punctuation from Evan Moore, level 2. Language arts, grade 2 from Harcourt Learning. See, you can see it's an obsession, the workbooks. But they're usually pretty cheap, like $6 on Amazon. So when I see them marked down like that, I usually get them as a just in case everything in life falls apart and I can no longer provide direct instruction. I can always just hand the kid a workbook. And fortunately, I have not had to do that. So as you can see, another writing skills book that we didn't use. Another writing one. Why do I buy these? I'm not sure. I can't help it. It's an addiction. From Memoria Press, I purchased one of their lit guides just to try it out because, you know, people have such good things to say about Memoria Press. But the more I looked at it, the more I felt that this type of lit guide just wasn't for us. It was vocabulary words and comprehension questions, and it just looked like it was going to kill the love of reading. And plus, we didn't get around to reading Prairie School this year, so we did not use this. Okay. Daily 6-trait writing. I did attempt to use this. We did not make it through 1 week. It's supposed to have lessons that go for an entire week. You do a little bit each day. And we didn't manage to make it through 1 week. It caused tears. She was crying. So I put this one aside, and we did not do it. I'll probably hold on to this, though, just in case. Another one that caught my attention was Vocabulary Workshop. This looks great. But again, I think we were just overwhelmed with everything we were doing already this year. There was no place to fit this in. This one is a little painful because this, along with the Memoria Press writing book that I showed you, the green one, I thought these two things, the Memoria Press, and this BJU reading work text would be the foundation of language arts for this year. And both of them ended up being fails for us. I still really like this. It seemed like a great way to learn reading comprehension and a little bit of phonics. The stories in here looked really nice. And we did get through maybe 2 or 3 of the stories and did the pages with it before she rebelled and refused to do it. This reading, she didn't particularly enjoy it. I don't know if it was because of the readings or because that it had work that went with it. I'm not sure. But so it was hard for me to put this down. But ultimately, it's probably a good decision, because the further you go into this book and the other readers that go with it, the more religious it becomes. And it becomes hard to skip those parts and still kind of get the work that you need done. You know, this is designed well. I think the method is really, really fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but we couldn't do this and read stories because they were becoming increasingly very religious. Okay, so that's it. You saw everything I purchased, a lot of backups and a few heartbreaks in there. But you know what? This year and our first year homeschooling last year in first grade were big learning experiences in terms of like what we like to do and what works for us. And so, you know, I don't really regret it. I have this material. Maybe some of it I'll pull from for next year. Maybe some of it I'll sell. I'm not quite sure. But I hope you enjoyed this. And if you've made some purchases that you were a little regretful about, I hope this made you feel better. Okay, have a great day. Bye-bye.